Yeah. Yes, I do. We have a little bit of breaking news from city officials that I have been in touch with. So fire department officials and Department of Building officials have begun the painstaking but necessary work of going building by building through those structures that have been evacuated and seeing whether or not there is any structural damage there that would prevent them from allowing people back in. So this is the first very important step, not just looking at the old Pfizer headquarters, but looking at other buildings that might have been possibly affected. And so in this case, we're talking about buildings directly adjacent to the Pfizer building and trying to determine if there's other structural damage. This is a step toward perhaps lifting the evacuation. Of course, buildings like Pix 11, for example, the old Daily News building, which is across the street, those buildings are being evacuated because of the risk of collapse. So they need to not only clear the Pfizer building, as it's been explained to me, but they have to clear the structural integrity of surrounding buildings, which of course, God forbid, could also collapse. So these are important steps that are happening with fire department officials and building department officials. They're done looking at the Pfizer building, which is a key finding. That's being shored up right now as we've been reporting for the last hour or so. And they've moved on to looking at adjacent buildings, including apartments and office buildings, to make sure they are okay. And at that point, they will determine whether or not people can go back into those hotels, office buildings, and in particular apartment buildings as we approach the evening hours. And then I would imagine at that point, the low-hanging fruit would be to open up the frozen zone, reopen our old Daily News building, reopen the Hampton Inn, where we've seen a lot of tourists really kind of discombobulated and worried about what they're going to do. Can they get their medicine? Can they get their things? Those sort of secondary evacuations that were set up because of the risk of collapse. So baby steps here, guys. I feel like we've been reporting for the last 2 to 3 hours. Okay, it hasn't moved. Okay, 6 people went in. Okay, the 2 columns, they don't seem to be moving. Okay, now we're going to look at the surrounding buildings while the Pfizer building is shored up. So you can feel the momentum building to hopefully lifting some of these evacuation orders, especially as we approach the evening hours and the hotels and apartments in particular become a necessary resource. Otherwise, the city is going to be dealing with hundreds, if not thousands, of people trying to figure out where to lay their heads tonight, Dan and Shirley.